All right, guys, this is Tom from Numbers Game Lifestyle. Today we're going to talk about an interesting topic, and it's why women lose interest in lovemaking in long-term relationships. Okay, I always have to use these like careful words with YouTube in the first minute of the video, but we'll be a little more candid later on after the first minute. Okay, so why do women lose interest in long-term relationships? You know, a woman will start off in a relationship, loving, like getting in bed with you, right? It'll be super hot and heavy, for maybe the first 6 months, and she can't get enough. She's like a total fiend. And what happens to most guys, after 6 months, after a year, and especially after you move in together with a woman, her sex drive seems to gradually decrease as the time goes by. And to the point where, married guys will often complain that, yeah, as soon as they got married, like the sex was pretty much dried up and it's kind of like a dead bedroom. And they've got to be like rationed out sex after a while. Why does this happen? Is it because like women stopped enjoying sex all of a sudden? Or maybe the guy just wasn't as good anymore, like he didn't put in the same kind of effort? And no, when a relationship is hot and heavy, it all starts in the mind, right? A woman's attraction, a woman's sexual desire starts in her mind. So early on in relationships, a woman thinks that her man, that first 6 months, she thinks her man is the king shit. She thinks that she's lucky to have this guy, like all the girls want him. He's such a player. He's so awesome, and I got him. And that's what she thinks. Like she thinks she's like super proud of like being with what she considers a high value guy. And over time in that relationship, she'll start to realize like, oh, wait a minute. Maybe this guy wasn't all that he's cracked up to be. Like maybe I kind of like overvalued and kind of like misinterpreted how valuable this guy is to other women. And then here's what happens. Like over time, as a relationship matures, the man will still stop acting like a king and he'll start acting like a peasant. He'll be more emotional, more clingy, more like needing his woman's attention, needing his woman's sex, more controlling, like, hey, like, where are you going? Like, who are you going with? Everything that communicates peasant status, that he's not the king. Girls don't want this guy. He's hyper paranoid about this woman, and, he's clingy, he's needy, he's emotional, getting all emotional about like where the relationship is going, things like that. Everything that a woman should be doing. Oh, that's the woman's job, essentially. A woman should be the one like worried about other women taking you away. Or worried about, you're not spending enough time with her, or you're not giving her enough sex. Those are the women's roles. Like that's what the woman should be in that position. Give her something to think about. Whereas the majority of men are the exact opposite. They're the one down position. They're the one that's, needing more of her time, needing more of her attention, needing more of her sex. And, not getting it, essentially. But why do they not get it? For one of the reasons is, like, when you move in together with a woman, it's only a matter of time before she stops, like, her sexual appetite's going to decrease. And it's there for a good reason, because we are genetically like kind of programmed to avoid siblings, right? When you live with a sibling, you don't want to, you're not sexually attracted to them, and it's there for a reason. And it's the same thing when you move in with a woman. Over time, it's going to feel like a sibling. It's going to feel like you're like brother and sister, because you spend so much time together that it's like, in her mind, in the back of her mind, she's like, man, like, don't even touch me. Like, I spend so much time with you. Like, I don't want to have sex with you. It's because of that. It's because of you're almost like brother and sister, because you've spent so much time together, in the same house. And what you can do to avoid this from happening, for one, stay acting like the king you were from the beginning and stop acting like a peasant. The needy, emotional, oh, like, why, how come you don't want to have sex anymore? Everything like that. Here's what you do as soon as you encounter a woman that's kind of pulling away. Let's say like you go to have sex with her and she's just like, oh, like, I'm just not really feeling it. The first time she does this, you don't wait till like, the 10th time or the 100th time that a woman does this. The first time she does this, this is your cue to get out of the house. If she's like, oh, like I'm just too tired, like I'm not in the mood. If it happens on a one-off occasion, like maybe it's just legit, she's just tired. But if it's happening more than once, this is your cue to get out of the house. It means you have spent way too much time together with her, and you're starting to feel like her brother at this point. You're starting to feel like, you live with her, like you're, genetically the same, which is why like she's genetically programmed not to want to have sex with this person because it's like, it feels like a brother. So get out of the house, get away from her as much as possible. You should be spending less time. The less time you spend with her, the more hungry she's going to be to see you again. The more hungry she's going to be to have sex with you again. That's when it's like, you'll know it's time when, you spent so little time with her and now she's chasing after you and being like, man, like, how come you haven't like tried anything with me? Like, let's do this. Like, she's horny again and she's ready to like, see you as a lover instead of like as a sibling at this point. So that's why it's so important to maintain distance. Like, in order for attraction to happen, there needs to be some distance. You can't be like locked together, 24 hours a day. She's just gonna want to be repelled from you because you feel like a sibling. You feel like, someone that you live with, like genetically the same. So you have to get out of the house, create distance, get away from her until she's the one being like, hey, like, let's get together. Like, I want to see you. I want to like be intimate with you. That's your cue. But the thing is, most guys get so hyper needy. Like, as soon as a woman turns them down, they're like, oh, okay, I guess I'll just try again tomorrow. And he tries again and gets denied again. And he tries again. He keeps on pursuing her. And it just pushes her further and further away. Instead of being like, okay, I'm noticing this. I'm starting to feel like a brother to her. I've got to get distance. I've got to separate myself from her. Another thing that can help is to create a little insecurity in the relationship. And that means taking her out to like a fancy restaurant or something, or taking her out to like a club where there's very attractive women and let them look at you, right? When she sees other women, eyeballing you, and, women are very good at picking up other women checking you out. Suddenly it's going to ignite her. It's going to be like, oh shit, like my guy is getting a lot of attention. I have got to like really put it down and make sure that he's mine. So as soon as you take her home, she's going to be all over you again because she saw other women looking at you. That's another thing you can do to, rekindle your lover status as opposed to like your sibling status, which is what you like let happen. Over time, you've let yourself become like a sibling instead of like the strong lover that she fell in love with and she lusts after. So those are two things: create distance and create a little bit of insecurity in her that she sees like other women interested in you. That's what happens when you take a woman on a date and there's other women around, and she'll be able to see like, oh, like other women are looking at him. Things are going to get really hot and heavy as soon as you get home. So these are important things to consider over the long term to keep your woman mind on you, your woman's mind on sex, and instead of being like a peasant to your woman or a sibling like your woman, like to your woman, where she's just going to be like, oh, like I don't want to have sex with him. I don't want him touching me. Don't let it get to that. As soon as you notice some problems where she's starting to pull away, that is your cue to create distance. Make her chase you. She should be the one, hands all over you, trying to get you to like, spend more time with her and be more intimate with her. That is her job. So yes, that is how you make it happen. You've got to create distance. The most guys are incapable of doing that. As soon as a woman pushes them away, they just push even harder, which just pushes her away even further away. It's ridiculous. So you have to have the emotional self-control to be like, okay, she's kind of pulling away from me. It's time for me to pull away from her. So she starts chasing me again. Anyways, guys, if you need help with long-term relationships, maintaining sexual attraction, and make sure that your woman is hot and heavy for you for the rest of your life, essentially. You know, this stuff can never... You do things right, and she will chase you till the day that you're dead. I've had this happen numerous times. You just have to keep her chasing. Don't be the one chasing her. And I've got links below to show you exactly how to do that and guide you through it step by step if you need that. All right, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching.